Shalom, shalom. This has been Yosef with the South Carolina Hebrew Israelites. We are on day 13 still. And I believe it's, we at diagrams folder, pictures 40 to 60, 61 actually, because 61 has to do with 60 and 59. Alright, Revelation, outline, introduction, chapter 1. The 7 letters to the 7 churches, the vision of the 7 seals, the vision of the 7 trumpets, the 7 visions, the vision of the 7 bowls, the victory over Antichrist, the victory over Har-Shatan, conclusion. I believe now we are in the 7. Let's see, we at the Battle of Armageddon right now. Right before the Armageddon was 144,000 taken. That's where we at. I was taken 11 years ago to prepare for this war, spiritual war. So I would say my own internal clock, I would say that we are at Armageddon. I said we at the we either at the seals or the trumpets, which we'll get in depth into. Let's get into this. What's the difference between the seals, trumpets, and bowls? All right, 2.5 years, seals of revelation. This is the seals. They bring all of these. So we're in the 6th seal. We in the 5th and great 6th seal. Then we got the trumpets, the day of the Lord, God's wrath. So right now we in biblical times. They say it's the end times, it's the apocalypse. Yeah. The day of the Lord, a very short time. He's going to make a very short work with these plagues. These plagues of Egypt. They're going to know that God is with the Israelites right between the trumpets and the seals. Silence in heaven between the signs and the trumpets. Oh, wow. Isn't that scary? When you see something, then you're going to start hearing something, then you're going to start feeling something. First trumpets. Trees and grass. I would like to think we in the 2nd trumpet then. And I wonder if it's not one at a time, but it's one thing happens, then that releases the next thing, but that one thing is still happening, and they all open like water gates. That's where I'm at with understanding the seals, the trumpets, and the plate. Now, you know something's sealed, you don't know about it while it's sealed, and it has to be released, and somebody has to release it. That's what we're seeing. We're seeing the seal of captivity being released from the Negro. These niggas in war, famine, and pestilence. I say all of these going on. That's why I like to believe one of these opens the next, and it just opens cycles. First woe, second woe, third woe, woe, woe. Whoa, whoa. Military power is the first woe. Sealing of God's people. Oh, there we go. Surely the Most High would do nothing but reveal his secret to his servants, the prophets, the Nabi'im. Alright, this is Daniel chapter 12. Organized efforts of God's work to proclaim the gospel to the world. And yeah, they had their time. Sacrifice ends, abomination and desolation. We already know that's already happened with the Greek. Alexander the Greek. Antiochus Epiphanes, all of these guys. Jerusalem surrounded. See, here we are. We already in Daniel chapter 7 and 11. So don't be surprised if these things are already done in around 70 CE. I think, shit, excuse my language, if that's the case, we're already in the plagues. Because trees and stuff, you can't even drink half the stuff. I'm looking for the third of the sun and the moon and the stars to be darkened, which there might be Israelites and the light of Israel. Let's continue. Parallel between Daniel chapter 7 and Revelation chapter 4 and 5. Ancient of days did sit. He that sit on the throne did sit. The throne. His description. Wait a minute. I heard a woman, a black Christian lady, told me that wasn't describing Revelation chapter 1 verse 13, 14, and 15 wasn't describing how he actually looked, but his spirit and the power of the Holy Ghost. Lies. His description, thousands, many angels, a myriad of angels. I just learned that word today in depth. Other thrones, 24 elders on the thrones. Why 24? You got the Democrats and the Republicans. Each represent the state in the House of Representatives. I just learned this like a couple months ago, so don't think I'm some kind of political scholar. I had to learn it for myself because now I'm in my 30s and it concerns me. When a president gets into power that you don't want to be dictating, you can't say nothing because you're not political. You don't care who you voted in, or you don't care who got voted in. You don't get political. But when it comes time to vote, you got something to say. Get political about your countrymen and the place where you at, so that you don't have to complain about local legislation. And if you want some things passed, vote the guy in to pass it. 24 elders on the throne, Democrat, Republicans, 2 representatives from the state to represent both parties, which are all devils to me. You got your northern wolf and your southern fox or whatever, or your southern bloodhound, I'll say. And that would be the Euro Gentiles. 24 elders to judge the 12 tribes. 2 judges each tribe. Duh. Son of man, the lamb that was slain, receives kingdom, worthy to receive. Books are open, book to be unsealed. Judgment was set. And then this is the judgment. Revelation tells you the judgment. The 7 seals of Revelation. The last trumpet, the last seal that you see, then you start to hear. Then the last one you hear, then you start to feel it. It goes see, hear, feel. See, hear, touch. So you got the first seals, see, then the trumpets, what you hear, and then the plagues, what you gonna feel. I really believe we in them trumpets. Let's continue. The conquest, Madan, Hazor, Moran. This is the conquest of Canaan, detailed diagram. So first we came up here. Moses leads Dibon for Jahaz. King Sihon of Heshbon attacks Israel. Why? At Jahaz, right here, we got attacked and is defeated. Reuben given area to Mount Peor. So Reuben took that. They say, we're going to give the firstborn, the strength of our father Jacob, the first nations that try to come up with us, come up against us, thinking that they strong arm against us. So Reuben, the firstborn, received all of that. That's some gangster stuff. First, you know the law. First bloodshed. 2 Jazer, 1399. Moses spies and captures Jazer. Moses spies and captures Jazer. Gad giving Shittim to Chinnereth. Now you know Gad's about that business in the ancient times. Shittim to Chinnereth. Shittim is probably up here to the river. Oh, where's Chinnereth? capital Rabbah, capital of the Ammonites. Then you got the Amorites. Sihon, king of Heshbon, king of Bashan. Bashan would be, that's where I want to have my farmland, in Bashan. Bashan is up here somewhere. There it is. That's where I want my farmland to be, where Lord Yeshua was raised up. Then we got Jericho. Let's go to number 3. Endri, 1399 BC, Moses spies out Endri. So 1444 we leave. 40 years later, 80, we come up in the land, 1400, 1399. Then it'll be 1398, 76. Okay, 95. Moses spies out Endri. Okay, 3, 4. Moab and Midian intermarry and hire Balaam to curse at Mount Peor. Midianites Balaam killed. Mount Peor, coming right into the land. Curse them while they coming through here, or maybe through there. 5. Gilgal, Jericho. Joshua crosses Jordan to Gilgal and burns Jericho and Ai to the ground. Joshua returns to home base at Gilgal, burns Ai and Jericho to the ground, returns back home. Again, we along the river just chilling. Then you got 6, getting gangster. So we go up here. Joshua builds altar on Mount Ebal, blessing and curses ceremony. Joshua returns to Gilgal. Jacob's well, Joseph's tomb. Oh, Joseph. We at Shechem? Yeah, that's where our forefathers buried at. In Shechem. We bought a plot of land in Shechem. What's the man name? Bought the plot of field from, I can't think of it now. 7, Amorites south. Then the Amorites want some smoke. Now we at 1396. It's like what? 3 years later. Gibeonites surrender. Amorite king attack Gibeon. The 5 kings. Jerusalem, Jarmuth, Lachish, Eglon, Hebron. Sunlight. That's where Joshua put. Joshua chapter 10 verse 24. Come and put your feet. I love that. That's one of my favorite verses. So number 7, Amorite south. Come and put your feet on the back of the neck of these kings, for the Lord shall do the same to your enemies. 5 kings are defeated and killed at Makkedah after they came out that cave, they punk asses. Then Joshua returns to Gilgal. Yeah, kicking ass. Makkedah, right here under Judah, in the wilderness of Judah. Yeah. And the Negev had them boys running. Almost, what are they, like 40, 50 miles away from Qumran? Should have hit in them caves. We was going to get them there too. Let's go to 8 and 9. 8, Amorite north. Amorite king gather at Mount Meron. Mount Morah, where Mount Meron at? I can't find it right now. Hazor, Madon, Akshaf, Shimrah, Arabah, Doch, Mount Hermon. This is Jezreel Valley. Hermon should be up here somewhere. Oh, Mount Meron. Mount Hermon. Somewhere down here. Joshua defeats them all, then returns to Gilgal again. Joshua did a lot for us. Son of Nun, out of tribe of Ephraim. Ephraim did a lot. Don't forget about the tribe of Ephraim. At a glance, former and contemporary approaches to the study of human variation. Traditional studies of human diversity, racial study, based on superficial phenotype characteristics, skin color, hair color, head shape. Traditional study of human diversity. All characteristics are polygenic, i.e. many genes influence traits. Environment influence phenotype, which I disagree. Emphasis on group differences. Only a few large geographical groups defined. Races. So they grouped everybody into 3 categories, or maybe 4. The Negroid, Africoid, Caucasoid, and Mongoloid, which is blasphemy. Frequently behavior, we are not Africoid, we are Negroid. Frequently behavior attributes also associated with racial groups, biological determinism. Every nation has a right to self-determination. That is a law to self-govern. Every nation has their own right to determine what their nation acts as. Approach scientifically not viewed as, which the Negro in America, the Israelites, are being robbed of our national determination to worship the one true God and forced to worship God under the disguise of many other religions. Approach scientifically not viewed as accurate or biologically useful. Main part right there, not even biologically useful. But this still is a predominant common view of human diversity, and you have to graduate based off of the false, old, and false, dilapidated, decomposed idea of traditional studies of human diversity. Contemporary studies of human diversity, population genetics studies, ethnology, anthropology, things of that nature, based on specific genetic polymorphisms, Mendelian traits ascertained phenotypically, a few dozen known loci that vary between individuals and among groups. DNA-based traits, millions of ascertained loci showing tremendous variation between individuals. That means actual field study. Going out there asking your great granny why she speak Gullah and where she learned her Gullah from, putting a microphone in your granny face and not paying your granny for her audio biography. Studies in human populations using population genetic methods. EEO, equal employment opportunity. Are you black? Are you Hispanic or non-Hispanic? Non-Hispanic? Okay, what race are you? Isn't Hispanic a race then? No, because when you claim Hispanic, you could be, the Mexicans tell me all the time, Spaniards from Spain, the conquistadors, the Portuguesa for Portuguese, got the Brazilianis speaking Portuguese, got the Mexicans speaking Spain-ish. They say they are the indigenous, and they know that they not Spaniard, but they all speak Spanish. So they have to ask, are you Hispanic? Do you speak Spanish? Are you non-Hispanic Spanish? Or are you non-Hispanic Mexican? They want to know if you dark skin or light skin. Hypothesis testing using patterns of human microevolution. Be careful with that one. This entire approach generally not recognized or understood by general public, because the general public are a bunch of pagan buffoons. They're going to die. Borrowed from, with their fat asses. Borrowed from Chuck Missler's Learned the Bible in 24 Hours. Nebuchadnezzar's Dream. Gold. Head of gold. Babylon. Silver. Persia. This is kindergarten learning at this point. Brass. Greece. Fill in the blanks, children. Silver. Gold. Brass. Who is that? And then they have to do it like this, put the line across it and figure out which one. So we'll have Greece going up top. We have Persia at the bottom. With this, then you got iron, Rome, iron and clay. Rome, you might as well say America, United States of America. And if this is true to this day, and we know that these nations came up in their time, the heathen know. The top heathens know. The bottom heathens don't know. But the top heathens going to send the bottom heathens to fight you. This is David Saul goes to the witch at Endor. Which is a dash. Okay. Philistine kings. Look how high up he had to go. It might have been like a woman of a different nationality. Philistine kings. Philistine forces. Oh, this is when David was with the Philistine kings. He goes up. They're like, no, you don't have to meet us. You go back with your forces. David said, alright, my nigga. David was going to fight Saul. Thank God he put it in the Philistine king's heart to send David back. David was such a real nigga, he didn't want to look like a traitor to the people who he pledged allegiance to the nation to. Even though he was an Israelite. You keep it solid. Remember, the Philistine kings loved David. Because the nigga kept it real. That's all you ever got to do, Israel. That's why the Lord loves you. You keep it real with him. When everybody else wants you to die. Basically. Alright, here we go. Philistine, Judah, Moab. We in the midst of these nations. En Gedi, little vacation spot. Masada, not a vacation spot. Keilah, Adullam, Goth, Ziklag, Carmel, Maon or something like that. Nob, Gibeah, Ramah. Philistine places. For a short while. Another diagram, David diagram. David and Goliath, 1 Samuel. Bethlehem. There's two Bethlehems too. Gath, Ekron, Sharaim Road. So we're Goliath of Gath. Boundary of blood, Philistine camp. Valley of the Oak, Israelite camp. So that's not Jezreel Valley, is it? Jezreel Valley's up here a little bit. Cut off right here. Then you have to go to the hill country, then bend back to the soft spot, then come back up to Israel to fight at Lachish. You have to get through Lachish to get to Israel, and Lachish is right here. You go. So we was just fighting them boys in their territory. They was beefing with us, y'all. I need a geographical map. Lake Hula, Sea of Galilee, the Dead Sea, or the Salt Sea, which the Romans probably poisoned it. That's why it's dead. Little unknown fact. They poison the water. If we can't get to the Israelites, we just mess up their water and their food. So the Dead Sea, so many nations came against you, black man. Before you was black, when you was an Israelite, and they hated you, and they put salt in your water. Couldn't even use your own ocean. And now they vacate there today and float on the water. Isn't that some blasphemous thing? God's going to burn them up. Stand and see your salvation. I can't really look at this map like this. I have to change the background. Settings. Give me a second. Settings. Well, damn. Gotta make it so hard. Light background, please. Let's continue. Gilboa, Tabor, Caramel, Jerusalem, Mahanaim, Jazer, Sheba's revolt. I think this what made Sheba win again. Oh, Absalom. Okay, so it came down here to Beersheba, went around told all of Israel to make Absalom king. Make Absalom, David's other son, king. Absalom fled Jerusalem. What does that mean? He came back. Next. Absalom's rebellion leaves Jerusalem, rebels, force of Ephraim. Who is that? Absalom's army goes to David flees. So that's David. That's David leaving. And that's Absalom coming. David's the ... Okay. From his own son. Let's continue. Almost done. We got 5, 6 more pictures. 7, 8. Let's continue. The wilderness. So this is Judah's wilderness to the southeast of Jerusalem. Then you got the Negev. So it's the wilderness, then Negev. Once you pass the wilderness, to get to En-Gedi, Qumran, or Masada, you often have to go through the wilderness. And that's where the Romans and Greeks would try to catch us and slay us before we got out of Judea. A cubit is from the elbows to the fingertips. But if you curve down your first fingertips down to the palm or your knuckles, that's a cubit, just your knuckles, because fingertips are different lengths. The cubit would be your knuckles to your elbow. This is Hyksos, diagram of Hyksos, shepherd-foreign-rulers. Get that out the way. What is that? Damn devil. I rebuke you. You're going to lose, Shaitan. So 4 is, what is 4? Foreign country. Foreign country. So when you see this on a depiction, these are just letters. When you see this, that means foreign ruler. What's number 1? Sign of life. Okay. Hasmonean wall. We are in, what valley is that? Gihon Valley. Pool of Siloam. Rock surface. Jebusite wall. Israelite wall. Entrance from inside the city. Look at the elevation. Gihon Spring. Entrance to Hezekiah's tunnel. Horizontal channel allowing water to flow from the spring to the end of the shaft. I guess this one right here. Previous abandoned shaft. Okay, so the water will come in here. We'll go down here, I guess. What is circuitous? Alright, cool. I think just talking about when they had it leading into the city so that they don't have to go outside the city to get water. But if they poison this, that's it. Jerusalem is shut up like a caged bird. United Israelite Kingdom. The time of King Saul, David, and Solomon, 1000 to 924. 10 years after King David was coronated as the second king of Israel. The hill country, the high hill country. We was up on the high hills. We lived there. And the Gentiles lived in the lowlands. That's how bad they was harassing us. We had to stay up in the mountains. Don't they tell you when new people move in? Well, it's kind of reverse for us, but they tell you when new people move into a country, the ancient end up migrating to the peaks of the land, and the new people on the beaches and stuff on the shores, and they make their settlements. But in this case, it's reversed. We are the new immigrants. We come through the promised land promised to us. Yeah, God is going to make all of this desert green again, all this sweet forest. Edomites, Amalekites. The name Euro-Gentile will be remembered no more like the Amalekites, or maybe the Sumerians. They'll be like, yeah, I remember the Neanderthal, but just a blip on the timeline. Weren't they barbaric? What's the point of remembering bad people? We're not going to. So everything they're doing today is not to be remembered. That's why they try so hard to make you remember it and study it. These are the roads in and out of Israel. Where is the King's Highway? I believe that's the King's Highway. Is it that far away? These are the main roads in Egypt, going to Egypt. Where's Lachish? So you will go to Lachish, then Jerusalem, or you will go to Lachish. Hebron was a big city. You'll go to Lachish and then cut here and go to Jerusalem. So a lot of people come down to the main road. You could go to Jerusalem directly, or you can go down Lachish and go up to Jerusalem, which is easier if you're visiting from the north. Or you could come down this way and go this way to Jerusalem, through Jericho, or you could come through Basra, but they don't really fuck with us, excuse my language. So yeah, you would have to come through Lachish, Jericho. We went through Jericho, remember? Then we was at one at Shechem. What city was he at? Gilboa. And started attacking them. Going back to Gilgal. Main road to Egypt. Pithom and Sukkoth. We could have went this way, but it was too easy. Lest we see war. So we went down the Sinai Peninsula. This is the peninsula. Sinai Peninsula. Arabian trade route. Remember, Joseph was taken to Egypt, and the Arabian trade route also went up to Ammon. So maybe they was going, looking at the ancient map, we was in north. Where did they get Joseph from? Shechem? Where is Shechem? Okay, that's Galilee. Shechem should be up here. Dothan. Here we go. Dothan. You see the trade route? So maybe they went up here, came back down to Dothan to get to Egypt, because they came from the desert. Skipping all the Canaanites and the Israelites. Went around Israel, came through the main road, picked up Joseph, took him on a route. Desert route. Right there. Havilah, Eden, possibly flow of Pishon. In the land of Havilah, there, Ophir, there's much gold. This is Hammon, Hammond said, raise a gallows. Remember that tower? Those telephone towers? Okay, this is somebody's second story house, right? 11 feet 3 inches. I'm 5'8". If I stand up right now, it's about a good 3 feet to the ceiling and another 6 foot in the attic. That's about 7. Yeah, that's about 11 feet. Alright, so, because 5 plus like another 6. So, this gallows is 50 cubits or 75. So 50. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 50. 75 feet long gallows to try to hang Mordecai. And that's why we have Purim. They try to kill an Israelite that did nothing wrong. That's the thing. We don't be doing nothing wrong. This is the gallows. 75 feet tall to hang a man. Now, does that make sense? Let's continue. 75. That's not even 75. 50 cubits, 75 feet. It's like 2.5 light poles and a big half. That's you. They was gonna hang you all the way up here. Could you imagine your cousin or your little brother being hanged all the way up here for people to just ride by? What are they trying to say about your family? I think this concludes our study. Yeah, had to get the gallows. Yeah, tomorrow we'll be going from, I believe, 61 to 80. Or 62 to 80. Starting with ethnology. Okay. This is Ethnology Depiction Myers-Briggs Lexicon Race of Mankind. This is what they try to say your ass is. Look at these people. Negrito. There goes our... I'm going to tell you our people right now. Us. Cousin. Bedouins. This is the real Ishmael. The dark people over there in Arabia. That's the real Ishmael. Not the white ones. All of these European looking ones are European Japhethites. Remember Noah's blessings. Dwelling in tents and all of that, served of other people. Javane. So these are the Indians who are Indo-European. Eskimo, Indo-European. European. Japheth. I'm studying the Japanese now. They worship their women. That's how they got started. Putting women up as queens. The queen would die, and she would have to die with 100 maid servants, perfectly fine, virgin women, in the chamber with her. Buried alive. Bushman. That's Ham. That's Sham, alright? Samoans and them boys, we'll get to that. Weed, half and half. A lot of times they'll use the name to represent two different people on the same continent. Weda, Negrito, that's us. There you go. Senegalese, not us. Not us. Ukrainians. Turks. They are delicious. Eating lice. Bedouin. Afghan. Probably them Persians. Gentile. Don't even worry about these guys. So we're going to get to that. You think that's your family? That's not your family. You think that's your family? That's not your family. Neither the Sioux nor the Navajo was a part of the 5 civilized tribes. You can see the real Mexicans. Been a while since I seen somebody like that. Basically a nigga with straight hair. Issachar. From one of the maid servants, you know? Judah, Joseph, couple other brothers that come from Leah and Rachel, we look like what we look like. The rest of the tribes, they look like how they look. That's them pygmies. We ain't them pygmies. We ain't none of these. Eskimos, we ain't none of them. South Mexican, I don't know. South Mexico. See, why they look so different? Amazonian. I'm going to say no. That's a hard no. And then look at their customs. That's all. Alright, just look at their customs. But yeah, that could be somebody granddaddy. These two, hell no. This top row, hell no. Her, maybe. Again, not too much. Braziliad, there we go, that's us. Braziliad, but the rest of these, not too much. Not too Eskimo, nope. West native, nope. Southeast native, yes. This is Exodus Red Sea crossing. That's the lightest place to cross. They're trying to make it seem like we need help. God didn't need all of this extra stuff to cross. And then they try to say there was a freak wind to divide the sea. And that there was maybe a little bit of water. Come on, it couldn't have been a completely foot-shotted dry. No. God said dry, it was dry. Bone dry. No mud, no nothing. Freak, nature wind, whatever you want to call it, he separated that ocean like a wall. They're trying to say he used the weakest point. He could have used the deepest point. They're trying to say that's what he used. And on certain conditions, we just skidded across just ever so lightly the top. See how they try to prove things? And this is where the Israelites cross. Okay. Okay. Alright. That's a chariot. Old ancient chariot. Okay. So we'll go back into that. This has been Yosef with the South Carolina Hebrew Israelites. Shalom, shalom.